HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It's a beautiful and it's a hot Wednesday in Nashville, Tennessee. But then again, it's summer, so get used to it. Got a good show for you today. Billy is down at SEC Football Media Days in Hotlanta, GA, the home of the fourth place Atlanta Braves. That would be in their division. But first, we begin in Murfreesboro with the one and only Kelly Holcomb. Kelly, how are you?
Great, George. How you doing?
Did you watch the game last night?
I watched some of it. I didn't watch to the end.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
I'm just not it's just hard for me, man. It's just so I don't know. I just sometimes when I'm watching baseball, I know that it's gonna upset Tony and it's gonna upset Eric and all these guys, but I played football. It's just a faster game, and it's tough for me, man. I tried.
Well, we're proud of you. I mean,
I
A for effort.
tried.
So,
I watched the inning or so.
Okay, let's bring Billy in from Atlanta, where we should be talking football with him. Billy, what's been the reaction to the way it all ended? Because I'll be honest, as big a baseball fan as I am, I had no idea that had been collectively bargained.
Me neither. You and I watched the first few innings, and we went to sleep early because we were so tired. But we got up in the morning on our way to the Hall of Fame. He shows me the score, and it was tied. And he read the headline, "Ends in a home run swing off," and I'm like, "What? Since when are we doing home run swing offs in the home run derby?" I had no idea either. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, and it was pretty dramatic at the end. Now, remember, you heard this from me because I'm convinced I'm right about it. So the managers have to throw out. This is a lot like hockey, the hockey overtime, the shootout, where you pick three people in whatever order you want to pick them. And so people are sitting there saying, how come no Ohtani? How come no Aaron Judge? Prediction? They had long since gotten on a private plane and gotten the hell out of the ATL. I don't believe they were even in the ballpark.
Maybe right on that. Absolutely. I would think that's exactly what happened. They're gone.
I'll say this, that no one really, the players don't really care about the All-Star game, but I think baseball's done a good job of, if you had the volume up and you're watching the first 3-4 innings, they do a good job of early in the game. They mic'd up Clayton Kershaw on the mound, and he was calling his pitches, which I thought was pretty cool.
That part was pretty funny when Smoltz told him to throw a cutter, and Kershaw said, "I don't have one."
Yeah, that was good stuff. And then they pulled Kershaw after two batters Dave Roberts did, and everybody was laughing. Freddie Freeman was at first base, and he got a really good ovation from the Atlanta crowd.
Well, and that's what they wanted to do, which tells me the Dodgers know that he's retiring at the end of the year.
Yeah, yep. Danny had told us, and then that was kind of the icing on the cake.
So it's interesting because you've got both sides of the spectrum opinion-wise. You've got one group that feels like this thing has been cheapened to the ultimate, that it's just one gimmick after another gimmick after another gimmick. And then you've got another group that's like, the ending was pretty exciting. And I'll admit it was. Now, maybe it was because the team that I told you to book ended up a winner, but I don't think that's all of it.
No,
I think it was a pretty interesting ending.
like I said, I think baseball's doing a good job of doing everything they can to keep viewers in the game. There's a lot of people like Kelly that just check out, they'll watch a couple innings, and that'll be it. But I do think they're doing all they can.
Here's what I wonder. I do wonder if minor league baseball will end up saying, you know what, we don't want 18-inning games, and so maybe they play a 10th inning and then say, if we don't have a winner in 10 real innings, we're going to one of these home run derbies. Because the organizations are now into limiting pitches, even though that may not be the right thing as far as, pitchers and arms and all that. There are a lot of people out there that believe the pitchers need to throw more between starts, but the organizations are scared to death of their pitchers being overextended. It would not shock me. And one more thing, you can take to the bank. In other words, Kelly, you can book it. In April of 2026, we will have a challenge system on balls and strikes where each team gets 2 of them. You can
Here's what I don't understand. Like, that's got to be like Dave Roberts was managing. Who was the other manager, George?
Aaron Boone from the Yankees.
Okay, Aaron Boone. So like that's got to be a little bit anxious for those guys because they don't want to get anybody hurt. Like, and how does that in the All-Star game? Like, how does that work? Does he call all the managers and say, "Hey, what do you want this guy to do?" Or what? Like, how does all that work?
Well, first of all, I think what they're trying to do now with this new way, because this was collectively bargained 3 years ago. So the managers now want to let every player who got put on this squad get in the game.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, that's really what they were trying to do late. But I thought it was really weird in the telecast that Joe Davis, I don't think, ever brought up this scenario until the 9th inning, which made me wonder, did he just find that out? I'd never heard it.
Who did know? Did anybody know?
I sure as heck didn't know. And if I didn't know, as much as I love baseball, that tells me that 99% of America did not know.
Yeah.
And I don't think Joe Davis knew until the 9th inning.
Which was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
But Kyle Schwarber was the hero of the Derby. The Philly slugger was also named All-Star Game MVP, the second Philly to win MVP honors in the All-Star Game since the award was first given out back in 1962. Johnny Callison was the MVP back in 1964. So a little early stat of the day.
Watching the home run deal, he was under a lot of pressure because if he doesn't do what he does, the National League isn't going to win. And, man, he handled it like a real champ. I know there are people saying Pete Alonso deserved the award with the 3-run homer, but had I voted, I'd have voted for Schwarber because ultimately that was the decider.
And I saw where the crowd booed when they learned Matt Olson wasn't going to be a part of the home run hitting tiebreaker. I don't know how it was probably a manager decision, but that would have been cool for Olson to redeem himself a little bit.
Yeah, finally, when it felt like the telecast figured out what was going on, then they started speculating on people. And yet I think I heard that the managers had to turn in these people ahead of time.
And so they already had it set.
I don't know that for sure.
Well, what we do know is we got some football to talk about. A lot of Alabama football today with the Crimson Tide and Kalen DeBoer at the podium at SEC Media Days. This update brought to you by X Golf. Log on to playxgolf.com to book your tee time now. Step into the future of golf with X Golf. They have the most accurate golf simulator, and you can elevate your game like never before. Go check out their new location at 209 South Royal Oaks out in Franklin. We're going to get to an Alabama note here in just a second, but a little bit of a bombshell earlier today from Brett McMurphy. The Big Ten will not back off its preferred college football playoff format, guaranteeing the league 4 automatic qualifiers unless the SEC decides to add a 9th conference game. A source said there's no way Tony Petitti moves off 4 automatic qualifiers. And so with the Big Ten continuing to support the 4 automatic qualifier format, and with the SEC unlikely to add a 9th conference game, 12-team playoff will likely stick next season as well as this season. So that's not official yet.
Is that horrible?
I don't think it's horrible.
No, not at all.
I mean, the deadline for finalizing the format's December 1st, and the SEC is not moving to a 9th conference game before then. So
no, but I'll say this: a lot could change between now and then.
That's true.
I don't know, but
does Greg Sankey does he kind of change his mind a little bit? Well, he's got the red pen in this, so
yeah.
That was a interesting piece from Brett McMurphy. But this morning at Media Days, Kalen DeBoer reiterated what Ryan Grubb, new offensive coordinator there at Alabama, who was in Seattle in the NFL last year, said a few months ago. If they played today, Ty Simpson would be Alabama's starting quarterback. Here is Kalen DeBoer from earlier today. Well, I thought I had that clip. Okay. So basically all he said, he was with the SEC Network crew, and he said basically what I just said, that Ty Simpson would be the guy.
Okay. And we'll break that down ad nauseum shortly.
Okay. I do have that clip. It's slowly pulling up. But before we get to that, a couple other notes from Media Days. Billy Napier gave a health update on DJ Lagway. He said he actually got a good throwing session in this morning. We feel confident in terms of him being ready to go. So good news for Gator fans. Also, Brent Venables, Oklahoma head coach, said that John Mateer turned down more money to go elsewhere. So he's making money at Oklahoma, but he turned down more money to go elsewhere. A lot of pressure on Brent Venables in year 2 this season. So we'll talk more about that.
Wait a minute, this isn't year 2 for him, is it? No.
Is it not? Is it year 3?
Seems like he's been there longer than that.
Yeah. This is
I don't know, though.
2.
That's a good question.
I
Billy's
mean,
looking it up.
Let's see. I thought it was year 2. I could be wrong.
No.
Well, it's not. I know it's not year 2.
He's entering. Oh wow, 4th season. My bad.
Yeah. Well, 2 times 2 is 4.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we'll get into some of those other Media Day notes. Also, one more note from last night at the All-Star game. It's really cool. The Hank Aaron tribute last night. This is a great picture if you're watching the podcast of Billy Aaron, the Hank Aaron's widow. Of course, the late Hank Aaron breaking Babe Ruth's home run record. That was pretty cool. That I would have loved to have been there for that.
Yeah, to me, that was one of the all-time highlights. And Kelly, here's where I'm a little out of control. So when you hear the tape where the late Milo Hamilton, who was the first voice of the Atlanta Braves, says, "Here's the pitch by Downing." I have heard this tape so many times. I have the damn thing memorized.
That's shocking.
I'm old enough that I remember that night. It was a Monday night, and the Braves had made the decision not to let him play on Sunday in Cincinnati. He had hit home run number 714 on opening day, which was a Thursday, off of Jack Billingham. And this caught the commissioner's wrath that he did not play on Sunday. And then when they returned to the big white donut known as Atlanta Stadium, on Monday night. Hank Aaron hit home run number 715, but the commissioner, Bowie Kuhn, nowhere to be found. Speaking instead to the Wahoo Club in Cleveland. It's a true story.
Wow.
The Wahoo Club.
The Wahoo Club. Yeah. Okay.
I've got the Kalen DeBoer clip.
Really?
Right now. So take a listen.
Okay.
You mentioned Ty Simpson getting first-team reps at quarterback. Will he be your starter?
If we play today, he would be our starter. And so, we announced that kind of after the spring. Right. Nothing's really changed since then. He's done a great job of continuing to grow himself. And that's under the tutelage of, again, Ryan Grubb, Nick Sheridan. Those guys are just pouring all into not just Ty, but our whole quarterback room. I'm excited about the growth of Ty. I think, again, trying to make sure that a guy gets out there and doesn't feel like he's got to be all world. Okay, even though we want our quarterback to be more than just a guy that just, distributes the ball. We need him to go out and make plays. And so he'll grow into that. He doesn't need to, prove that and try to do too much. Trust the guys around him, trust his offensive line, trust the receiving core that I think has improved as well. And, just their relationships are important and their continuity, and they're operating on a different level now than what they were a year ago for sure.
So that's Kalen DeBoer from earlier today at SEC Media Days. We'll hear more from him here in just a moment. A couple other notes. Tennessee will host Duke in a preseason exhibition in basketball. They're working to finalize a matchup with Michigan as well. Tennessee will host Duke in Knoxville on October 26th, and the Michigan game likely to be played in mid-October in Ann Arbor.
Now, if most of the time these exhibitions are not in front of people.
Yeah, but Tennessee did they not play was it at Michigan State last year, maybe 2 years ago? I think Michigan State has played some open exhibition games. So.
Well, who knows? I don't think fans are allowed in. Now, there are probably some who, if they contribute to the Tide Pride Society.
Yes.
There'll be somebody there.
No, there'll be somebody there. Okay, after the break, we will hear from Kalen DeBoer, year 2 at Alabama, and then we're going to have a lot to react to. Roll Tide is coming up next on 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wilson Bank and Trust, we believe you shouldn't have to choose between personal service and digital solutions. As your local independent bank, we're proud to offer the relationships and trusted service you expect, along with the tools and technology that keep you moving forward. So whether you're growing a business, buying a home, or planning for the future, we're here to help. Because this isn't just where we work, it's where we live too. Wilson Bank and Trust, here to get you there. Member FDIC.
Process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Looking for your favorite sports?
How about sports? You follow sports?
We probably haven't. Just log on to the Information Superhighway. They don't call it that anymore?
To start, press any key. Where's the any key?
Head to thegamenashville.com.
The password we're in.
You'll find what time your game starts and what station it's on.
Oh, they have the internet on computers now.
That's what's up. Your sports live here.
What an age we live in.
On the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
So ask yourself this question. Would you have really wanted to be the person that replaced Nick Saban at Alabama? Not an easy job. There's no telling what this first year for Kalen DeBoer had to be like. But now he's into year 2. And he spoke at the podium earlier today. And I asked these guys to kind of carve out about 10 of the most important minutes of what he had to say. And then we're going to yap about it as well. Here's Kalen DeBoer.
Gianna, Nathan, and Drayden will go ahead and come on up. We'll start right here in the center aisle. Barry?
Yeah, Barry Tramble, Tulsa World. For 2 decades, the SEC dominated, built a great brand, winning national titles. Now the Big Ten's won 2 in a row. How important is it for the SEC, maybe Alabama, maybe somebody else, to stop that streak and get the SEC going again?
Yeah, I think individually in our own programs, that's our responsibility to be to be at the top. Right, that's the expectation of, I know at Alabama, but also the expectation for the SEC as a whole. I still feel that the SEC, top to bottom, is as strong as you'll find. And, we experienced that last year. You had games where you showed what your ceiling was, but you also had to back it up and play the next week against again. And it showed that every team in the league can win on every given Saturday. So, we want to prove ourselves as a program, but also as a league as well.
Coach will go right in front of me, about 3 rows back, the section to your left.
Coach Joe Gaither at BamaCentral.com. On Monday, Greg Sankey opened up talking about 8 or 9 game conference schedule. Alabama has a lot of great home and homes going out into the next decade. What's your perspective on future SEC schedules?
Yeah, I mean, right now that's above me. I know there's questions that get asked the coaches and kind of as you work with your athletic directors, but that's beyond me right now. I know there's a lot of pros when it comes to strength and schedule, and I'm all for that. You look at our schedule this year, and again, that was built out years back as well, but we're playing Florida State, Wisconsin, one way, one at home. And so, we're all about playing as many high-end games that you can possibly play. And certainly adding another SEC game to the schedule would accomplish that.
Coach, we'll go over again to our left on the far aisle, but midway back.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Did your year one live up to the Bama standard?
In which way? Or to me personally, or
what you evaluate to be the Bama standard? Do you feel like your year one lived up to it?
Yeah, I mean, for if you internally ask us, no. We fell short of making the playoffs, as simple as that, right? And giving yourself a chance to go compete for a championship. I think there's a lot of things that I'm super proud of that are happening within the program that are part of the progression. We want it right now too. So we fell short. Our guys, again, I'm proud of them and the way they've responded to, us, not realizing the goals that we set out to have and getting back just to work, focusing on the main thing. I feel that's always been the case, but sometimes there's just ups and downs you got to go through, unfortunately, that we had to experience. But in the end, we're going to take advantage of the failures we've had and be better because of it.
Coach, we'll go to our other side to the right here in the second row.
Coach JD Zaza, WVUA 23. Last season, Jahad Campbell was a massive part of your pass rush. Who are some players that have stood out to you on that side of the ball after spring practice and then going into fall practice? Yeah, Jahad, a lot of versatility that he brought, and obviously that's why he was a high-end draft pick. I think, guys like LT Overton jump out at me. LT in particular, he was there a lot last year, and I think, again, those are the next steps you want to take. Now not just he, but a lot of the guys finishing plays, but LT's got it in him. He's got the skill set. He's got those instincts. He continues to hone in on taking it to the next level. Quay Rusaw is another guy, and then there's some underclassmen that are coming up that I think are doing a nice job too, and looking forward to their progress that they've made physically to be able to put themselves in a chance to be able to let their work happen on the football field on Saturdays.
Coach, we'll go in the section right in front of me, second row.
Thanks, Coach. Larry Carlson, History of Longhorn Sports. I was wondering if you could discuss the quarterback room and maybe handicap things for us a little bit.
You bet. Really got three guys that have taken all the snaps, not a majority, but all of them. Ty Simpson, Austin Mack, and Keelan Russell. And that's really by age and years of experience is kind of where it starts. We did make it known at the end of the spring that if we played a game at that point, and it really wouldn't have changed even at this point because there's nothing that's happened as far as practicing. Ty Simpson would be the guy that would take the first snaps and be our starter. Challenged all of them at that time that they have to continue to take the strides. They got to continue in their own ways, improve. They've really, I know, worked hard to do that. And excited to see that progress 2 weeks from today. But they have the tools. Ty, throws a catchable ball. He's smart. He's been in college football now. Is going year 4. He's seen the ups and downs. He's got great relationships with the team. He's a leader that way. He's really owned things, I think, on another level. And then, Austin Mack. I mean, if he walked in here, the guy's 6'6", 230, 235. He's got a presence about him, and that carries over to how he throws the football. Really took his most meaningful snaps in college this spring, working with the 1s and 2s. And then Keelan Russell, you would never have guessed that he's I guess a lot of guys would be graduating from high school here about a month ago. Really a high school senior, early enrollee that came in and just learning the system, learning college football, has taken these huge strides in the course of the spring. And now, again, getting that install over and over again in the summer and going into the fall, I'm confident he's going to make big jumps as well. So those are the three. Kind of told you if we played today where it would be. But all three of them have the potential to do some really big things in our offense. I think a lot of it has to do with what's around them as well.
But we're going to stay in this section to our left about halfway back.
Hey, Coach. Nick Wiggins over in Mobile, Alabama with WNSP. Last year, kind of unexpectedly, Ryan Grubb joined Seattle after you were expecting him to be offensive coordinator here at Alabama. What was the adjustment last year without him? And then what are you looking forward to now finally having him back here in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things. I mean, we had 4 guys on offense that were from a staff standpoint that were coming down, and ended up being 2 with Ryan Grubb. Scott Huff was also taken there up in Seattle. And so, man, when a guy puts in as much time, given it everything he has to the program I'm a part of and working alongside of him, it was one of those moments that was bittersweet, right? Because you want him here with you. I'm talking about Ryan Grubb here at Alabama, but also someone you've coached with for 12, 13 years, known for even longer. What an opportunity. Go be a coordinator in the NFL. And I thought he had a great year. Thought he did an amazing job. He was certainly ready and prepared for it. But things happen for a reason. And, him getting a chance to come here and just add to our staff at the level you're talking about with an elite offensive mind, our familiarity with each other, the efficiency we have when it comes to the day-to-day work, off-season, in-season, it certainly helps us, gain even more momentum going into, this fall. But the rest of the staff's been awesome in how they embraced Ryan Grubb coming in. The players have as well. And then, Ryan's hit the ground running and added some things, on the things he's learned. I mean, when you go through your career, and every year you're going to get better if you have the right mindset. And there's no place you're going to get better and be put in tough spots than in the NFL. And so love what he's brought on top of what our system's always been and how we've evolved to make us even better this fall.
Coach, we're going to go over to the right side on the far aisle over here to our right.
Hey, Kalen, Colin Gay, Tuscaloosa News. I'm curious, when it comes to no matter who's a starter at quarterback, it's going to be a level of inexperience. Are you confident in whoever's named the starter, their ability to run your offense and to be that leader with the level of inexperience that they have?
Yeah, I think that's a valid question, right? I mean, experience is a big deal. Trying not to do too much when you don't have to, taking what they give you, trying to prove yourself to your teammates, to everyone watching. So just trying to work through that. And again, that's where consistency and continuity and just them being comfortable with Ryan Grubb, Nick Sheridan, Mitch Dollins, analyst, senior analyst on our staff, myself, just, them knowing that, hey, we believe in you. And just be you, go out there and, don't try to do too much. Just go execute what you're supposed to. But they got the tools. And so now you're just trying to put them in those moments as much as possible to where the lack of experience, maybe from a game situational standpoint, is able to come out in practice, help them feel prepared. I'll say this. I think going through a quarterback competition, that's pressure alone. These guys are going through pressure every throw, whether it was a competition or not, we would analyze and break it down and chart it. But, every throw and every drive that these guys are a part of, it's critical, to them, winning the job. And I think sometimes going through a competition prepares you for the pressures that are going to come within a season. I've seen that over and over throughout the years when I've had other competitions as well.
Okay, there is a lot to sort out in Tuscaloosa, but we're in Nashville, and we're going to sort it out after the break. It's going to be a bunch of questions about the whole Alabama operation. Stick around. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, PancoastBenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time.
Nashville Sounds Baseball is back in Hit City for the 2025 season. Create a summer of memories at the ballpark with weekly giveaways, fireworks shows, and more. Tickets are on sale now.
I trained my entire life to be the best. I was one of the fastest women in the entire country. But woke politics made me swim against a man, sharing the pool and the locker room. That's not just dangerous, it's degrading. Thank God for Marsha Blackburn. No one fights harder to protect us. Marsha Blackburn will always stand for strong women, because she's one of us.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, a lot to sort out about the Alabama Crimson Tide. Kelly, to me, as I try to judge what I saw a year ago, you draw a line down the middle on Kalen DeBoer, and you have, okay, the good and the bad. To me, I try to give him the benefit of some doubt because I can't even imagine the level of pressure that he was under internally, fan base, the whole bit of, you're not Nick Saban. Okay, he knows that. He knows he's not Nick Saban, but he's reminded of it every single day. That said, I didn't think they were a particularly well-coached football team. I thought by Alabama's standards, they were soft. And allowing yourself at Alabama's level to lose to Vandy, he does something like that again this year, he's going to be in deep doo-doo.
Yeah,
they're not going to put up with that for long.
Yeah, I can't imagine the kind of stress he was under, George, but I think that says something about him, too, his character, that he wanted that stress. I mean, he knew what he was getting himself into. This guy's from South Dakota, man. He was a Division II hero. And, you know, he took University of Washington and he got them to the heights of college football with, you know, I'm sure he had some talent, obviously, but he didn't have the talent that Alabama's got. And that's a tough situation to come into. And I've told you this before. I really think that he did not have the quarterback that he wanted. He did not have the Michael Penix. He did not have the guy to throw the ball, and Jalen Milroe was not that guy. He's a runner. He's an athlete. He couldn't throw the ball very good. And I just think, here, me personally, George, I think that Alabama's, when you look at what they've done, when Nick Saban first got there, they were known, when they had Greg McElroy as the quarterback and he won a national championship, they ran the football and they used play action. And then they started getting these guys like Tua, and they started getting the other guys that could throw the ball, Mac Jones. They started getting these guys, and they weren't the running team that they used to be. And I'm not sure that didn't bring on some of the physicality problems that they had. I think when you I think he was really good at seeing, and this is what I always heard about Coach Bryant. Coach Bryant knew what was coming on the horizon, and he could change. And I think Nick Saban knew what was coming on the horizon, and he knew that it was going more to a passing pro-style deal. And in order to get players, that's what you have to do. And I think he did that, and I think he did it successfully. But like, I think when you throw the ball all the time, I think it breeds some physicality problems. I really do, because when you have to have that tough 1 or 2 or 3 yards on 3rd down or 4th down, you're questioning yourself all the time. So I think that started with Nick Saban. I really do. Now, I can't imagine the pressure that guy was under, and especially when you come to Nashville and you lose to Vanderbilt. He was good to keep that team on the rails, because losing to Vanderbilt that you hadn't lost to in 40, I think it was 40 games or something like that. That's a tough pill to swallow. And you're right, George. If he does something like that next year, he's going to be on the hot seat, if not gone. But I think you got to give him time. And in our world today, people are not willing to give coaches time. They're not willing to allow them to get their program started. Like, he's a totally different guy from Nick Saban. Nick Saban was like the Bill Belichick, like didn't want to talk to the media, didn't like talking to the media. Kalen DeBoer kind of embraces that. He's got his own sets of values. He's got his own way of doing things. And last year, y'all were all saying, hey, with Nick Saban having an office there, he's going to have some input. But the way that Nick Saban was as being an old school guy, Kalen DeBoer's got to make his name on that program. And I don't think Nick Saban got involved at all. And I thought it was a good transition from what he had to work with the quarterback, because I think he got into a situation where there was nothing he could do. He didn't like it, but you know what? He smiled, he went about his business, and he tried to win games. And I think he did a really good job. And here's the deal. I'm not sure that Alabama is going to take a step back this year. I'm really not. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I think the dude can coach. And I think that everybody's wanting Alabama to be bad, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think this should be a better year for Alabama. At Florida State is big. Florida State obviously had their struggles, as we know, last year. But they've got a tough – I mean, they got to go to Georgia. At Missouri won't be easy. They do host Tennessee. At South Carolina, you got LSU at home, Oklahoma at home, and, of course, at Auburn. That's a pretty brutal schedule. You also got Wisconsin at home. Now, I don't know how good Wisconsin's going to be, but there aren't many layups, and there's not going to be a ton of room for error. Now, they could get in with a 9-3 record, depending on who they lost to, but 10-2, you'd rather be 10-2. So, Kelly, I'm with you, but a lot of it hinges on Ty Simpson. We talk about how we haven't seen Arch Manning, enough of him. We haven't seen really any of Ty Simpson, and I think it's really intriguing. He's probably sitting here in the weeds going, hey, keep talking about Arch, keep talking about all those other quarterbacks. I got Kalen DeBoer as my coach, calling plays, and I've been working with Ryan Grubb in the offseason, the guy that Kalen wanted initially, went to Seattle, and he had Hugh and I were talking about it, he had a confusion of offensive, philosophy with Mike McDonald, so he's back in Tuscaloosa. I like what Ty Simpson, the position he's in right now, because there aren't many people talking about him.
Boy, I don't. I'm going the other way. So you go to Florida State and you go to Georgia in the first 4 weeks of the season. You have a quarterback that virtually has never played. The one bit of, live bullets, Saban got pissed off at South Florida a year and a half ago. I don't remember who they had lost to the week before. Come to think of it, I do. It was Texas. And he goes down to South Florida pissed off, doesn't like the way things are going, and he puts Ty Simpson in for a little while, and it was okay. But that's it. Other than the fact that we know his father is a head football coach at UT Martin kind of stuff, we don't know squat about Ty Simpson. Now, I'm assuming that they're really high on him or surely to God, Alabama's got the power and the money to go get somebody that's pretty attractive in the transfer portal. But if they're 2-2 after 4 weeks with road losses at Florida State and at Georgia, and Ty Simpson doesn't look like he can play, this guy's going to catch hell.
You could be right, but I think I think their defense is going to be like one of the Nick Saban defenses. I really do. I think they're going to be a lot better, and I don't know. This is obviously me just talking. This is my opinion, but I think everybody's waiting for, and they love that Alabama got, was down last year, and I think they still won 9 games. They didn't make the playoffs, but everybody was excited about that. But I just don't think that they're going to drop off much. I really don't. I don't know why I'm saying that. I just feel it. I think he's a really good football coach, and I think he got into a situation last year with the quarterback that he wasn't ready for. He didn't like that he had to, but he smiled. He went about his business, and he kept that train on the road. And I will say this about Ty Simpson. We don't know anything about him, but you got to give it to the young man, because this day and age of NIL and transfer portal, he at least stuck it out. He stuck it out, and that says something about his character. So I know that he was pouty when they kept Jalen Milroe in there, because I'm sure he thought he was better. And if you're a quarterback, you always, if you're sitting behind somebody, if you got confidence in yourself, you think you're better than the guy that's in front of you, and you have to have that mentality. But he got in Nick Saban's doghouse a little bit, but he came out of it, and you got to give it to the guy for staying there. And hey, I'm for quarterbacks. I do know this: his brother that's coming up, is really, really good.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
But you talked about it, George. 2-2. If they're 2-2, after that Georgia game, they're hosting Vandy. And we know what Vandy did last year to him. That Florida State game. What do we know about Florida State? I don't know how to feel about that game. I know Gus Malzahn is down there now. We know Thomas Castellanos is talking trash, and there was actually an Alabama player today, Deontay Lawson. I forget the exact quote, but he said something. Any trash talk or disrespect will be handled accordingly in response to Castellanos. So I'm interested. That game, that's another. There's so many good games week 1. That's one I'm really interested in, and will set the tone for Bama's season.
To me, the best thing that Ty Simpson has going is that he's got the second best wide receiver in the country in Ryan Williams.
Yeah.
That kid's a stud. But I worry about, I'm assuming here that they felt comfortable enough not to go get him a quarterback who's actually had live bullets.
Yep.
But what if they're wrong?
That happens every day, George. People are wrong. You do your evaluations, and sometimes you think you got a guy, and then when bullets start going around him and people start flying around him, and he's just not the guy you thought when the lights come on. I used to tell my kids all the time, we can go out and we can have all these deals where we got a coach, putting us through drills and doing all this. But, when the money meets the rubber meets the road. Here's the deal. You got to be able to make a shot, make a free throw when the lights are on. You got to be able to make a pass when it's 4th and 7 when the lights are on. You can't do it in practice. You can't do it in drills. So, sometimes people evaluate and they evaluate it wrong. It happens all the time in the National Football League. So I don't know what to think about him. I think I don't think he's there yet, but I think don't they have some kid from California or somewhere coming in that's a really high quarterback recruit?
Austin Mack. Are you talking about?
Was that him?
They have Austin Mack. I'm not. That could be him. But Keelan Russell, the freshman, he's 6'3", about 200
Maybe
pounds.
that's him. I don't know, but maybe that's him.
But he's, they've got options, and DeBoer talked about the options. He was touting their depth at quarterback, and I know he said today in the clip that Ty Simpson is the guy, but I don't know that Ty Simpson is the only. He's obviously not the only quarterback we're going to see for Alabama this year.
I mean, Every team's got 3 or 4 quarterbacks. That doesn't mean anything. Here's the thing. It's one thing to get it wrong at UL Monroe. Tired old poor UL Monroe.
George, you're gonna have to come up with somebody else, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna get the UL Monroe coach on here one day. We're gonna have him on.
But it's an entirely different thing to get it wrong at Alabama.
It is.
That's part of, unfortunately, the whole Alabama deal. And if you look through the history books, it's not like the guy that replaced Bear Bryant. When Bear Bryant retired and then subsequently passed away, a month later, it's not like Ray Perkins, it went swimmingly well. Ray Perkins ran to Tampa Bay the first shot he got. Think of how many different people that Alabama went with before they finally got Nick Saban. And you worry about, is this guy going to end up in that same deal, or is he miraculously going to make everybody just go, well, Nick was great, but he was hard to deal with?
I don't think so, George. I think this guy is. I think he's different. I think he's. I don't think he's Ray Perkins. I don't think he's. Other guys that before Gene Stallings came around, who actually won a national championship as well. But I just think this guy, for some reason, he just. I don't know. He knows football. He's an easier type personality than Nick Saban, which is not a bad thing. Sometimes you have to be who you are, and players always know that. I was with a guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but he was trying to be somebody else, and as a player, you see through that. And I just think, time will tell. Time will tell, but I think this guy's pretty good, and I think it's different.
Something I want to see if I'm an Alabama fan this year is getting back to running the football and being a physical football team. That Vandy game last year was a clear. I mean, we were there, George. I didn't recognize that Alabama team. I was like, what are we watching? And then the not necessary roughness, but everything that happened at the end was shoving Pavia's face to the ground, and then Malachi Moore throwing the face mask over the sideline. Like, you didn't recognize Alabama last year. So how do they get back to that? Because if they don't, you're going to get bullied in the SEC, every other week.
That's a classic example, though, and it is coaching. It is with that, but that's a classic example of guys not being focused, think they're going to just show up. It's a Vanderbilt team that they've beaten so many times in a row, and once they start hitting you in the mouth, I've been in situations like that where there's nothing, like you think you can just show up and play the game because you're Alabama and you're the Roll Tide. It doesn't happen like that, and especially when you got a motivated team who was pretty good last year in Vanderbilt, who had a quarterback that guys believed in, and when they started hitting them in the mouth and they weren't focused and they weren't ready to play, it got on them, and then they started pressing, and then that's what happens at the end of the game when guys start shoving, because you're getting your butt whipped. That's why you're trying to start a fight.
I got the chance Sunday night to rewatch a big chunk of that game. And about the time, every time you think Alabama, okay, here they come. It's Alabama, and you're sitting there going, oh, Lord, here comes Alabama.
Right.
I mean, it took me until 6 minutes left in the game to say, you know what? Vandy's going to win this. But what ended up happening, every time Alabama would get them into a deal, because Alabama played from behind the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And every time they would get close and they'd get to 3rd and 9, and the Alabama crowd, which dominated that stadium that day, starts making a bunch of noise, Vandy on 2 different occasions pulls that shuttle pass for more than 30. They pull one for like 31 and then a second one for 34. And as I watched it, I was like, this Alabama group, they don't know what's coming.
Mm-mm.
And they really didn't feel like a team that had scouted Vandy very well, to
Yeah.
be perfectly honest.
What they probably learned and what Kalen DeBoer and that staff probably learned is that you have to respect every SEC team on your schedule, every single one, whether it's Mississippi State, Vandy, or LSU or Georgia. And what happened last year was it happened before during the coin toss. Pavia has talked about it, that Alabama was talking trash like crazy. They thought they were treating Vandy like a MAC team. And, I think getting back to respecting your opponent, if you're Alabama, that's probably the next step for them.
Well,
that's a tough offense, George. That's a tough offense to shut down, man. You can, that triple option stuff from the gun, like you can work on it in practice, but when you've got a guy that's been in it for a while and can run it like Diego Pavia can run it, that's tough. And that started building, and the frustration started to amp up as time went on, and they couldn't stop them. They couldn't get off the field on third down, and that's what happened in that game.
And I'll say this. That was first part of the season last year. It's in about the same spot this year. Alabama's coming off the game at Georgia this year, and they got to come home to play Vandy again. I'm not predicting Vandy to win, but I don't think it's going to be a blow. I think that's going to be another tough game for Alabama to win. Do you all agree?
No, I don't.
I'm not saying anything. I got to see the season. I got to see how this unfolds, man.
I'm just saying it's happening in the same time last year, and just
that's a good point, Billy. But it's at Tuscaloosa too, man.
I know. I'm not going as far. I'm going to let the season play out, and maybe by then I predict a win.
In a related note, the Braves are not yet mathematically eliminated. We'll go to the break, and then when we come back, it'll be Stat of the Day, where we have held our own this week. Kelly, thank you for your help. Yep. And we will hear from, to me, the foremost expert in Southern college football history. That's my buddy Tony Barnhart. Billy caught up with him earlier today from SEC Media Days in Hotlanta, GA, the home of the free and the fourth place Braves. Stay tuned.
Can't watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it.
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network. SEC Football Media Days are back, and Chase and Big Joe are taking you there, live from the Omni in downtown Atlanta. All this week, they'll bring you exclusive coverage, interviews, and insight from the biggest names in the best conference in football. Our coverage is brought to you by
Brewhouse South. Experience Nashville's ultimate sports and brew hangout at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs.
Don't miss a minute of the action. Your sports live here on 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville Sports Network.
It only happens once a year, and it's happening now. The Electronic Express Annual Clearance Sale. Save up to 80% on overstocks, demos, closeouts, scratch and dents, and one-of-a-kinds, some brand new in the box. Don't miss these savings at Electronic Express on HD TVs, home theater systems, appliances, computers, and more. But hurry, quantities are limited and deals this big won't last. Shop the clearance sale at any Electronic Express location today.
Hey Nashville, your days just got a whole lot better. Nashville's newest Dunkin' is now open at 2100 8th Avenue South, and they are serving up all your favorites. Hot coffee, cool refreshers, and the donuts you crave. Swing by on your way to work or chill with us all day with Dunkin's iced coffees and that special Dunkin' taste you love. The all-new Dunkin' at 2100 8th Avenue South. Nashville runs on Dunkin'.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffaloville Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuck wagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. One ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Mr. College Football Tony Barnhart joins the show coming up, but first, stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, more baseball.
Hold on. Before you go to the question.
All right.
Kelly, the interns are doing a lot of mouthing off in here. One of them claiming to have gotten 2 of them in the last week. The others never come close to getting one right. And so I just wonder if you'd like to say something to them.
Well, I would like to throw it in their hands since they're so confident because, these are not easy.
Okay, so what we'll do is I'll read them out after Billy reads it. I'll write down my answer, and then we'll get theirs.
Yeah, good.
Before last night, only one team had never had a player hit a home run in the All-Star game. Can you name that team? Bonus points if you can name the player who hit the home run last night to break the drought.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand the question, but here goes. Before last night, only one team had never had a player hit a home run in the All-Star game. Can you name that team? Bonus points if you can name the player who hit the home run last night to break the drought. Okay, so let's think about, because I do know the answer to it, and Kelly, I'm guessing you do not.
Yeah, that would be a good guess on your part.
If you can name the player who hit the home run last night, of course I can. They finally they've babbled amongst each other enough that I think they've actually come up with the correct answer. So shout it out. Okay, it's the same answer I've got. Kelly, you want me to run with it?
Absolutely, please.
It's Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Arizona Diamondbacks, yep.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. So
nice.
So the interns, I must say, they had what I had. I had it written down before I let them answer it.
There you go.
Corbin Carroll leads the major leagues in triples.
Did Alex give the answer to Eli?
Likely. Hello, Hugh. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. To what? Why did we let you on the air?
Ask Billy.
That's very disrespectful to one of our interns, George.
It was.
That was totally uncalled for.
I know it was.
This show was totally uncalled for at times, Billy. Hadn't you figured that out in the last couple of years?
You got to admit it was funny.
It was good.
I mean, just a voice popped out of the stratosphere. I was like, where'd that come from?
Well, Hugh is present today, so.
Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, so, gosh, I have known Tony Barnhart for 40 years, and apparently this is the last time that he is going to make an appearance at an SEC football media day, which to me is kind of sad. Anyway, Tony's been a good friend for a long, long time. And Billy, you got some thoughts?
Well, I was just going to say that he seems really excited about that. This is his last year. He's going to go to some SEC games and other games around the country. He's, with his farewell tour. He's also got the Dodd Trophy, the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year that he's been doing for 15 years. he touches on that. But yeah, he's still kicking as one of the best.
He's a good man, and in my mind, if you're going deep back, like back, a lot of years, he is the foremost authority on Southern college football. He is Tony Barnhart. Listen closely.
I want to start with the Dodd Trophy Coach of the Year. Obviously, you've been a part of that, a huge part of that. What does that mean to you, and what's that been like throughout the years?
I've been in the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year board of directors. This is my 15th year of doing it, and we present the Dodd Trophy. Now, there are a lot of good, really good Coach of the Year awards, but the Dodd Trophy is different for a couple of different reasons. One, it's not just about winning. It's about academics. It's about community service. What kind of presence do your players have in the community? Those kind of things. And all those factor into our final decision. Well, I'll give you an example. Coach Freeman at Notre Dame was our choice this year. And he was just an outstanding guy. And one of the things that's unique to the Dodd Award is that we don't have our banquet and get you to fly in and present you the award. No. We go to you. We go to your campus, put together a big celebration so your family's there, your staff is there, and all the Notre Dame people were there, and we had a blast. So it stands for all the right things. Scholarship, leadership, and integrity are the three pillars of the award, and I'm very happy to have my name associated with it.
Now, Tony, this is your last hurrah. This college football season. Just heard that you're going to be traveling to different stadiums across the country and giving it one last ride. Man, you've had an unbelievable run. What do you think that's going to be like this year?
Well, my wife wanted to call it a farewell tour. I said, "Well, darling, I'm not dying. I'm just going to go away from the daily grind." I'm excited about it. I get to say thank you to a lot of people. And I always knew I sort of wanted to write my own exit strategy, and this was the perfect opportunity. And I'm looking forward to it. And just I've been on every campus, obviously, but it's going to be fun to go to a game and thank a lot of people who've helped me over the years.
All right, we've talked a lot on our show about what's going to happen next in the conferences. You've got the SEC and the Big Ten with the power struggle. We think the ACC is going to dissolve. The Big 12. What happens with that conference? We've talked about it so much. What do you think happens? Does it end up as a Power 2? I've talked about Power 3. Where do you stand?
Well, the question is, what is the ACC going to do? Ultimately, do they split up? And I'll tell you this: there's a lot of people who are making assumptions that if the ACC splits up, the SEC is going to add Clemson. They're going to add Clemson and Florida State. Keep your eye on North Carolina. And North Carolina has got so much going on that campus. And also it brings you another television market, Charlotte, Raleigh, all those television markets in. So, it's like anything else. I didn't think there would be another wave of expansion unless Texas and Oklahoma decided they were ready to go. And that's exactly what happened. Same thing here. If the ACC breaks apart, then the SEC is going to have to look at that and see who fits. And I promise you, one of those teams will be North Carolina.
The SEC, they go into 9 games eventually?
I think you have to. I've been a big proponent of the 9-game conference schedule for a lot of different reasons. Well, first of all, who doesn't want to see more SEC football? And the fans want it. The coaches don't want it. I get that. Love them, but they don't get to vote. My main issue where I want the 9-game conference schedule is that if you don't do it, then you're going to lose some of the secondary take the Georgia-Auburn is my favorite game. Well, if you don't go to 9, then you're not going to play Georgia-Auburn every year. And I think that's the oldest continuous rivalry in the Deep South, been played since 1892. And I just don't want to lose stuff like that. So we'll see. I think they ought to go to 9. I understand the argument about not going to 9. It makes a difficult schedule even more difficult. But you know what? If they go to 9, that's going to be a whole lot of money.
Oh, yeah. I want to go the SEC as a whole. This year doesn't seem like there's a unanimous favorite at the top. People say Texas here and there, Alabama, Georgia. How do you look at the top of the league this year?
Well, I said this last year, and I'm saying it this year. Last year, there were a lot of really good teams in the SEC. There were no great teams in the SEC. I think it'll be the same this year. I think Texas and Georgia are right there together. Then a slight notch down, you've got the Alabamas and the LSUs and those folks. So I think the top of the league is going to be good. Keep your eye out for LSU, okay? LSU has done good work in the transfer portal. They have an NFL quarterback, and their defense is going to be better. Their defense 2 years ago was awful. It was a little bit better last year, and they think it's going to be even better this year. So, by the way, you got to go to Clemson to open the season. Just thought I'd mention that. So
Not easy. With Tennessee, obviously local, Joey Aguilar is a guy that, Tennessee fans didn't know a whole lot about. Came from UCLA, wasn't there for nothing but 3-4 months.
Right.
He played at App State. What can we expect from Aguilar in that Josh Heupel offense?
I think he'll do well. You mentioned Josh Heupel. He will be an even better quarterback with Heupel coaching him. I mean, the guy knows his way around an offense, and I think he'll get it done. Now, can he do all the things that Nico did? I don't know. But the thing about Tennessee's going to be a contender, not because of their offense, but because of their defense. Their defensive coordinator, Tim Banks, could have gone to the NFL and didn't. And they have one of the better defensive lines in all the country. So I think Tennessee will be there. Now, are they better than Georgia and Texas? I don't think so. But they're not far behind.
With Vanderbilt, we saw what happened last year in the Alabama game. Yeah, still can't believe it. What can we expect with Pavia in year 2? People say the book is out. He can't stay healthy a whole season. Can he elevate this year with that team?
Can he elevate, and can he stay healthy? But here's the thing. Everybody now knows what he can do. And you got defensive coordinators sitting in a room with their head coach, and the head coach is looking at the defensive coordinator and said, let's do this. This guy over here may beat us, but Pavia is not going to beat us. Somebody else will, because we're not going to let that guy do what he does best, which is break down the pocket, make plays, run it. You're going to have to contain him, because now everybody knows what he can do. They're not going to sneak up on anybody. But the guy's a special player. I mean, I like him.
All right, last thing. Arch Manning was here yesterday. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know if you have in your time.
Maybe Tebow. Maybe Tebow.
I mean, he's a popular Heisman pick. Who would be your Heisman pick? And then on the Arch talk, what can we expect from him?
I have no idea on the Heisman pick, because I never pay any attention. Even if they announce it, I don't pay attention to it. What I liked about yesterday with Arch Manning is the media's cracking jokes. He's cracking jokes back. He's very comfortable in his own skin. Well, look, he grew up in the family business. And I tell people, is he gonna be nervous? No, his grandfather was one of the greatest players in the history of this league. So his uncles were two of the great quarterbacks in the history of this league. He knows the drill. Nothing is going to surprise him. But by the way, all you got to do is win the Heisman Trophy, and all you got to do is go to Ohio State in your first game. All you got to do is win take Texas to the national championship. But other than that, there's no pressure on him. So.
All good with that. Tony, appreciate the time.
All right, anytime. Take care.
Oh, he's one of the all-time best. Kelly, I got a little story on Tony Barnhart. So years ago, I ended up breaking the story that Bobby Johnson was resigning at Vandy. And if you remember, it was a weird deal because it was like in July.
Right.
And
I do remember that.
Yeah, and I'm convinced that Bobby did it that way so that the school couldn't get rid of his assistant coaches. Bobby was a little bit fed up. The school had made stadium improvement promises, and none of it was happening, and he finally forced the issue. And I can't tell who it is, but I had an incredible source that I knew exactly what they were talking about. And so I went with it. And about an hour and a half, I'm on the air at a certain radio station, pick one of them. And Tony calls me during a commercial break, and he goes, I don't know where you got that story, but that's a hell of a scoop. Love me some
right there.
Love Tony Barnhart. What a wonderful man. What a great career. And I love it when he says Georgia.
It's where did he get all his he's like the Mel Kiper of college football in the South. Like where did he get his start, George?
I don't have it in front of me, but where I first remember him was Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Okay.
And it may not have been Atlanta Journal-Constitution at the time. It may have been one or the other, because he goes back a ways. And then CBS hired him. Billy, I don't know if you've got it all in front of you. And an interesting comment that a listener said, Tony Barnhart was Furman Bisher 2.0. That's really a good analogy.
Yeah, he started in.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say he started in the newspaper business. He went to Georgia, and then you're right, George. He was a TV analyst for CBS, ESPN. He helped start the SEC network, I want to say, and he was a reporter originally for the SEC network. So kind of the Paul Feinbaum model. Feinbaum started in the newspaper business and then went to radio and now TV and radio at the same time. Barnhart followed a little bit of the same model.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, is he not the definition of Southern college football?
Oh, absolutely.
Just the way he talks.
Georgia.
Georgia.
I love it. He's a good man. I always enjoyed going down there when we would play Georgia because, first of all, it was crazy to look over in Georgia's booth and see Larry Munson, because Larry Munson and my dad were big buddies, and they talked constantly. And I'm not convinced that Larry ever knew my first name. Young Plaster. And the last time I had Larry on the show, it's been about a 20-minute interview, and I don't quite know where it's going. And all of a sudden, here is this legend, one of the, Kaywood Ledford at Kentucky, John Ward at Tennessee, Larry Munson at Georgia. They were the Mount Rushmore of SEC announcers. And he goes, Young Plaster, if you would have listened to me, you'd have made something of your life. Well, great, Larry. Thank you so much. So I called my dad after the interview, and I said, what the hell was that about? And he goes, it's just Larry screwing with you. So I used to love going down there, first to see Larry Munson, and then always to see Tony Barnhart, who is simply the best. We'll go to the break, and then we'll talk about the other teams that were on the clock today in Atlanta. So stick around. We'll open up the phone lines around 4:40. This is 94.9, The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time. It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
Are you ready to begin? Trevecca Nazarene University, from calling to becoming.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
You know, when you hear that instrumental, you know within about 2 notes exactly what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You can check out anytime you like, Kelly. But
Oh,
you
little
can
hotel,
never.
little Hotel California from the Eagles. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Billy,
Billy, you
hold
know
on,
anything about that?
I know about the Eagles. That's a good one. I wouldn't say
Okay.
I love it, but
So it took you a while to figure out what that was?
me,
Kelly? No, Kelly.
he can't hear
No,
the music.
well, I can't hear it. I can't hear the.
okay,
Yeah, when you
okay.
said that.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, see, I can't hear any of the music. So when you talk about music, I'm in the dark here. And when you started saying that, I knew it was the Eagles.
Yeah. Okay, Billy, who were the other schools today? Obviously, in this area, Alabama's the most important one because you got a huge southern Middle Tennessee, Alabama fan base. It's just simply the way it is.
Yeah, you had Mississippi State with Jeff Levy, Florida with Billy Napier, and Oklahoma with Brent Venables. And, you know, with Billy Napier in Florida, a lot of the talk is around DJ Lagway and his health. There were some rumors that, you know, he may not even be fully healthy going into the season, but both Lagway and Napier turned those down. Napier said he threw this morning, or maybe it was yesterday. He recently threw in a session and felt good, so he's going to be good to go. And that's got to be good news for Florida fans, because I'm sure they've got insiders that had been saying that, but to hear it officially, that was a lot of the talk. And you know, a lot of people are picking Florida to be a top 10, top 15 team this year if all goes well.
So think about this. I don't know that I've seen a scenario where a coach appeared to be dead man walking a month into the season, who not only survived, but now you never hear that anymore. He's from Cookeville, Tennessee. I know Watson Brown and his family have known that family for a long time. I hear incredible things about Billy Napier as a human being. And let me say, I'm as guilty as the rest of them. Did I think he was dead man walking? Absolutely. Did I say it on the air? Who knows how many times? Good for him that he beat the rap.
It seems like every year it starts out that way for them. And I think I think this is a huge year for them, because I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to I think DJ Lagway's he's a pretty good player. He's a huge kid. And if he can stay healthy, and if he can get healthy and stay healthy, I think they've got a shot, because, I mean, it's Florida. And, Florida used to be the dominant team. They've won a couple of national championships with Urban Meyer. But I think Billy Napier, just listening to Watson talk about him, I think he's a really good coach. He did a lot of good things at Louisiana. Obviously, it's different in the SEC, but I think he's gotten kind of over the hump, and now he's established his program. And I think it's probably going to be different this year for Florida. I think they're going to be a contender.
Yeah, they're saying today, they had players saying it, and Billy Napier said it today. He said their motto this offseason is spot the ball. And no matter how hard the schedule is, there's people ranking them with again, the toughest schedule in the country. Just spot the ball and we'll play. And Kelly, you mentioned it, and George, to turn around the season they did last year was incredible. They beat, after the loss to Texas, there's a lot of talk. I know we were talking about it, that Napier's done. Well, they turned around, they beat LSU, they beat Ole Miss, and then, of course, they beat a bad Florida State team. But that saved his job. So now coming into this season, well, how much momentum do you have? Still got a brutal schedule. At LSU early in week 3, at Miami. That's not going to be easy. And then you turn around and play Texas, and then Texas A&M. There's your gauntlet, George. That's.
Hold on a second, Kelly. Kelly, do you know who they opened the season with?
Florida?
Yeah.
Louisiana Monroe.
No.
Since you talk about them so much.
I at least knew. No, but Alabama plays them in week 2. This is a school that I did not know had a football team.
Oh, really? Tell me.
Oh, really? Long Island University?
Oh my gosh. Really?
We might be able to
get a couple more guys and go out there and beat Long Island University.
Long Island University is nicknamed the Sharks. There've always been a lot of shark sightings in Long Island.
I'm trying to look how long they've been a Division I team. They've been a Division I. Well, they've been FCS since 2019, so they must have. Oh, I guess they are still an FCS team. Okay.
I'm not sure that game prepares you for Miami.
I'm not sure that game will be on TV either. Good gracious.
It might be on like ESPN plus. Okay. Oklahoma. When last we checked on Oklahoma, because we had kind of dead and buried them, they rose up for one night and showed Alabama who daddy was. Remember how bad Alabama looked that night and how much muttering was going on about Kalen DeBoer? Well, the question is, can they pick up from the momentum of that with the brand new quarterback, John Mateer from Washington State, who was really pretty darn good a year ago? I got to see him a few times. Man, it feels like there's a lot of pressure on that kid to deliver. If Oklahoma is going to get back to Oklahoma standard, Mateer's going to have to be really good.
It seems like Brent Venables did the exact same thing Clark Lee did. He went out and got the Washington State staff and brought them in, and then has brought the quarterback with him. So, and defensively, I thought they were, man, when they played Alabama that night, they were loaded for bear, and their defense looked awesome. And I don't know what happened. It just seems like they were too up and down last year, and that's not normally what you see out of an Oklahoma football team. So, I don't know if is Brent Venables on. Is he on the hot seat? I'm sure people are not very happy down there. Yeah, I'm sure people are not very happy with the way things have gone the last couple of years. So it's going to be interesting to see, and he's probably fighting for his job this year. So I think they'll be better as well. You just look at the SEC from top to bottom. I think they've all gotten better. I really do, especially with this transfer portal. Everybody, I can remember playing with guys, the Buffalo Bills. They were Mississippi State guys. I played with guys at Cleveland, and it's like it's like a badge of honor being in the SEC. And that's the way those guys were. And that was 20 years ago. That was 20-something years ago. And can you imagine now? Everybody wants to play in the South. It's amazing.
Well, they had injuries. They had injuries all over the place last year.
Yeah.
I mean, had 3 receivers out. A lot of their offensive line was out. And I'm with you. I think Oklahoma's going to be pretty good this year. I like John Mateer a lot. They bring in Jaden Ott from Cal. Look out for the Sooners.
Here's a game that will never get played if you've got a 9-game conference schedule. In week 2, 9 game, Michigan at Oklahoma.
That's a big one.
If you like that kind of stuff, don't root for 9, because once that happens, that kind of game, it ain't ever happening.
Yeah, because those 3 games are going to be patsies. They're going to be the as George talked about it, the Louisiana Monroes of the world, the Murray States of the world. They've got to do that to have some of those games spread in the schedule, like at the first of the year and towards the middle of the year, just to give their teams a break.
So who does Oklahoma open their season with, Kelly?
That's a good question, George. I hadn't looked at schedules now.
Well, I hadn't really either. Here's an intersectional rivalry. Illinois State.
Oh, gosh. Oh, boy. Illinois State's not bad now, but they're obviously nothing for Oklahoma. But like they had some players last year because Murray State played Illinois State.
My guess is there are tickets available for that game. So Mississippi State a year ago at times felt like the worst team in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did, and they felt like they were getting better, and then they would get knocked down again. It was so up and down.
So here's one that was a real puzzler to me. Mississippi State opens their season this year against a rival that they don't like at all.
I don't like this.
Yeah. At Southern Miss. You talk about walking into what?
That's
Let me also
tough.
say this. At 11 o'clock in the morning on opening day, August the 30th, boy, that'll be a comfortable game to sit at.
That's right.
That Southern Miss, that Southern Miss crowd is going to be ready for that one. And if Jeff Levy loses that, I don't want to.
That's a tough one to start out, right,
George,
there.
that's like Vandy going to play middle. I know they've done that a couple of times, and they used to play a lot more, but that was never a fun game for Vandy, and never an easy game. Middle's beaten Vandy before, but that's what this reminds me.
Middle beat Vandy 3 times in a row. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what this reminds me of. So I don't know how good Southern Miss is supposed to be. Apparently, Mississippi State has won 6 straight against Southern Miss, but that's not fun.
So, Kelly, you remember one of the games when Jay Cutler was at Vandy and Middle blocked a field goal at the buzzer.
I do.
Well, ESPN broke into the game that I was doing. Willie was involved in it, and I think Pat Sperduto. And they had told me early on that ESPN's likely to break in. And so during one of the commercials, I punched the button where I could talk to the truck, and I said, look, if they break into us, I'm going to introduce myself at least 5 times.
So you took full advantage of it, George.
No, I truthfully didn't. But what they broke into was, here's this final drive. Middle's up 17-15, and Vandy starts out from their own 2-yard line. And right as this drive starts, ESPN busts in. And I'm thinking, oh, hell yeah. I'm about to be discovered. And Vandy drives about 75 yards for what looks like is going to be a win, and they get the field goal blocked.
I remember that because I was watching. I think I was still playing. What year was that, George? Do you remember?
Oh, I want to say Would 2004 sound right?
Yeah, it was somewhere because
Yeah.
I think we were playing the Baltimore Ravens, and I was in the hotel and I was listening to the game. I had it on the internet. I was listening to it, and I just remembered it, and I remembered like being overjoyed when they blocked the kick. That was now I think we went out and got boat raced the next day by the Baltimore Ravens, but yeah, that was fun. That was fun when I was listening to it.
What I remember about it, we were doing the game up on the roof, which is where they put TV now, as opposed to the old days where you were in a booth. So you're up on the roof of Dudley Field, and I remember looking down. Place was packed. It was a really tight sellout because it was very obvious that this was going to be a very close game.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, you know, this is, to me, Vandy and Middle is a game that I personally would like to see played when Middle is at a point where they can compete at that level, because I think it's two opportunities for those programs to showcase themselves in and around Middle Tennessee. But I
Agreed.
also understand Vandy not necessarily wanting to play it, but I've always said, you know, Middle beat them 3 times in a row, and the sun came out the next day every time.
Mr. Positive, Dr.
sky-
Phil on the show today.
The sky didn't fall in. Okay, Billy, that was riveting updates on those teams. Thank you so much.
Yes, I know you appreciate those.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. We'll go to the break, and then red-blooded Americans who want to talk some sports. I want to hear from you at 615-553-0933. Again, 615-553-0933. I'll admit, here's something I would like to know, because everything I have read today is split. There are some people who love what was going on in that All-Star game last night, and there are others who absolutely think it is a mortal sin the way that thing ended. I would love some of your opinions. If you're listening and you got a strong opinion, let me hear it. This is 94.9 The Fan.
When I got my first car, my dad told me, keep the gas tank full and my number on speed dial. Now parents are telling their kids, save 615-242-9000 just in case. I'm Blair Durham. If you or someone you love is in a wreck, call us. We're here to get you the money you deserve.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler. Attention Big Orange Country. Tennessee and Illinois will square off Saturday, December the 6th at Bridgestone Arena. This is the rematch of a great college basketball game last season in Champaign. It went right down to the wire, and this one figures to be more of the same. Tickets go on sale Friday, July the 18th. You can grab your seats by going to Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com. Tennessee, Illinois, it's big time. Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
A lot of people want to define teams by singular performances.
Sports. Did he not go back into the game after that interception?
Let's get this turned around. And we're all saying, no, they don't.
Here.
You thought you were on your way.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, we will go to the phones in a minute. Let me also confess we've put you to sleep. Not a phone call on there yet, so jump in at 615-553-0933. Billy, while I stall for a second, who's up tomorrow? I'm guessing Missouri's one of them.
Yeah, Missouri, Kentucky, Arkansas, and A&M. So not necessarily Murderers Row.
And I've always thought you don't want to be on the final day because the truth of it is this is a long deal. And by the time people get to the fourth day, they want to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
They've heard all the coach speak they want to hear. And I've always thought the four teams that get stuck on the last day, they get screwed.
Do they rotate this thing every year, Billy? They obviously do, right?
Yeah, they don't. They actually announced yesterday that they don't know yet where next year is going to be.
Really? And I'm talking about they rotate the teams. Like they
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about location. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know they rotate locations, but I was just thinking, like, you know, I would hate to be stuck on the very last day. I mean, it's everybody's
Yeah.
been there all week. They're tired. They're tired of asking questions, and then I'm like, I wouldn't want to be there either.
I was telling Hugh this. I think this is how they do it. Monday is your big buzz coaches and big name players that are going to make some news. You had Pavia that day, right? You had Brian Kelly at LSU. You had Beamer at South Carolina. You had Kiffin at Ole Miss. That's a really good Monday slate. Tuesday, another big day with Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee, and Texas. Arch, all those great teams. That today was a little bit lighter. You had Alabama, but I think there was a little strategy in putting Alabama kind of by themselves. You know, Florida's the next big, team that most people care about. Oklahoma and Mississippi State, at least where we are, not a ton of care. And then tomorrow, no offense to Kentucky and Missouri, but it's just different. They definitely strategize this in a way that makes them money.
That makes them money? What do we mean by that?
What do you mean? You don't think there's strategy involved? And okay, how can we get the most people
but
here
I
and get
mean-
the most eyes on?
Okay.
I'm
with
with Billy. Now, I don't know about the money factor, but I'm with the strategy. I think there is a
Oh,
strategy to it. Yeah, I mean, you got to have some punching power the first day, and I think they had that. And then, yeah, these people at the end, tough.
It's tough because they don't get the love on the fourth day. There are a lot of people packing up saying, I've had enough.
Right.
Ron in Brentwood, you are the first call. Welcome.
How's it going, guys? Good to be with you again as always.
Same here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, a couple of things. I know the SEC Media Days have been the talk of the town this week, but I just look at the landscape of college football, and I know I heard you last week, George. You talked about pump the brakes on this Arch, man, and let's just see what he can do. Let him play a few games, and I kind of agree. I just think I look at Texas, and Arch may be he may feel all the hype and may be the next big thing. He could, but I don't trust their coach Sark from here to Franklin. I just don't. You know, he's never won a big game in my mind. I thought he had a favorable path last year to the, Final Four game. I don't trust James Franklin for Penn State. They're getting a lot of hype. He's never won a big game. We all know that. So when I start dissecting the cream of the crop, and it's early, injuries can happen. You never know what could happen, but I just think Texas is going to get clocked week one at the Horseshoe. I really believe that. Ohio State's got the best defensive player in the country in Caleb Downs and the best wide receiver in the country. So I'm not going to take an unproven young whippersnapper to go into such a championship environment opening day. No, that's not happening. People can just miss me with all that and pump the brakes on all that. And again, James Franklin, they got to go to the Horseshoe. I'm not buying them. Georgia, if they get good quarterback play, I think they could be elite. But I agree with what Doug said. You know, the SEC is going to have a couple of good teams, but no great teams. So call me crazy, but this thing could be third year in a row. Big Ten hosting the national trophy, hosting the
Look, I'm kind of with Tyron here. I think the SEC is in a little bit of look. It's still the best conference in the country, but the top of the Big Ten, I believe, is still better than the top of the SEC.
Yeah, but does it just mean more?
I just think I'm not guaranteeing Ohio State's going to go back to back either, because it's hard to do. Hadn't been done since Alabama, and prior to Alabama hadn't been done since USC. So it's hard to do. But I just think Ohio State, if their quarterback can shake out and be good with the pieces around him, they're gonna be hard to deal with again. And we all know now, they can lose that Michigan game. They don't want to, obviously, but they can lose that game, and they're still probably a shoe-in for the playoff. And we seen last year, they come out, Tennessee found out, Oregon found out, Texas found out, Notre Dame found out. So I'm not guaranteeing they're going to go back to back, but I would have to lean them entering the season just because of the uncertainty. And the two teams that everybody says the biggest threats, get back to me when Sark wins a big game. And sure as hell, get back to me when James Franklin wins a big game, because he ain't never won nothing. Be well, gentlemen.
Tyron is amusing.
Those are all fair points. I agree on a lot of them.
Okay, so Sark a year ago, they beat Arizona State, which turned out to be a lot harder than anybody thought in their playoff game. And it looked like they were about to take down Ohio State until the fumble down on the goal line. They had a lot of the momentum. Wow.
Yes, they did.
Week one, they rematch.
Yeah. Got to win that game, though.
At noon, where I'm sure it'll be sunny and 70.
Yeah, Tyron, he's right about, I know that Arch has the name, got the credentials, he's got all that, but he's going against the national champion from last year. That's going to be tough, especially on the road.
Big time pressure. Dave on line 2. You are next on 94.9 The Fan.
Good afternoon, man. I want to ask Mr. Holcomb something.
Yes, sir.
What is, and the same thing for George when he was doing, what's the coldest, nastiest game you ever played in?
Oh, the coldest, nastiest game. I'd actually gotten hurt the week before. I broke my ribs and I went out for a game, and there was a blizzard in Cleveland, and there's nothing like that. You can't get used to that. I went out 2 hours before the game, and I've told this story before. There was somebody up in the top of the bleachers that said, top of the stand, said, "This is for all you a-holes that wanted an outdoor stadium," because he obviously wanted an indoor stadium. But you just can't. Like it was so cold and the wind was blowing so hard off the lake. It's just that was so cold, and I remember that. It's just bone chilling.
On my end, it was Blacksburg, Virginia, and it can now be told. gosh, I don't know. I'd been doing the sideline announcing for about 3 years. And we arrive on a Friday, and the forecast at that point isn't all that bad. And, I've got just kind of a light jacket, something you would wear in the early fall or the early spring. Well, the next day, when we woke up, we woke up to a light sleet storm and about 32 degrees, and I froze my fanny off down on the sideline. I also remember that Watson Brown at one point turned to me. This was his first year at Vandy, and he goes, "What are we doing playing these people?" There's so much fun stuff that goes on a sideline that the general public never gets to see. Like the day I saw Jeff Fisher tell Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Derek Mason, he had just left, and they had come back and they were playing at Nissan Stadium, and he was chirping up a storm at the Titans bench. And finally, Jeff takes off his headset and goes, "Derek, shut the hell up and get in your huddle." I loved it.
All right. Thank you, man.
Thank you. There's stuff that goes on down there. Look, it's no surprise to y'all. One of the coolest things is to broadcast from courtside, and some of the stuff that you end up hearing between a head coach and an official is priceless.
Yeah. Yes.
I can only imagine CM Newton.
Oh, I got one, but I don't know that I can use it. So we'll go to Walter instead. Walter, you're on 94.9 The Fan.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. Thank you.
So with the MLB trade deadline coming up for teams in the wild card race, what do you guys think are the biggest pieces that are on the market? Because it seems like this year there aren't that many key pieces that teams are ready to deal with the deadline coming the 31st.
Yeah, and I think because of that, you're going to see all of it pushed back to being very late. So teams that are guaranteed to be sellers: Florida Marlins, Colorado Rockies, White Sox,
Pirates.
Yeah. So
maybe the Nationals.
Maybe Sandy Alcantara feels like maybe the top pitching piece that's out there.
Zach Gallen.
Zach Gallen might be in Arizona. That's a guy I'd be interested in if I was competing to try to win a pennant. Who were the teams we threw out there? We went Marlins. We went White
Baltimore.
Sox. Baltimore, yeah. They've got a tough decision because are they really that bad? And
they've got some decisions to make. Yeah,
they've got some real decisions to make. I would think Dean Kramer would be one in the starting rotation. Zach Eflin would be another name. But the caller's right, because it's so hard right now to figure out who's out there, who's really selling. Are the Braves really selling? Because if they are, and I think they should be, Marcell Ozuna, Raisel Iglesias, Pierce Johnson, and maybe Sean Murphy. Kevin, line 4, final call of the day. Welcome.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Good.
So I'm going to talk about the Vols and the SEC media days and all that type of stuff going on. I know Heupel yesterday had his little press conference or whatever. Everybody's asking him about the whole Nico situation and Aguilar coming over. They kind of switched spots from UCLA to Tennessee and so on and so forth. And I know he kind of said Aguilar's having to earn his spot and all that stuff. But I mean, I feel like we can kind of comfortably say that Aguilar's going to be starting. So my question to you guys is, do you think Tennessee's ceiling this year is higher or maybe shorter than it would have been if they had Nico?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
It's a really good question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'm not sure. I've seen the Aguilar kid play. I think me personally, think he's better than Nico. That's me personally, just watching him play and watching Nico play. Nico's too inconsistent. And I said this yesterday in the show, Kevin. If Nico was the guy that they thought Nico was going to be, when he went in and demanded more money in today's college football, they would have given him that money. But they were not. He did not have confidence in him. You could tell that in the Oklahoma game. You could tell that in the Ohio State game. They just didn't have much confidence. They thought he was going to be different than he was. He showed some toughness in that Ohio State game, but it just if he would have been
salary drive.
Yeah, exactly. If he would have been the guy that they thought that he was going to be, then they would have paid him some more money. I promise you that. Now, I don't know if he would have got what he asked for, but they would have paid him some more money. So I like this Joey Aguilar kid. I think he's a good player. But just like Tony Basilio talked about yesterday, he's got to do something with the turnovers. He likes turning the ball over, and that's what you get when you get an overconfident young man who thinks he can fit balls into everywhere. You've got to kind of tease him down a little bit and say, hey, we're trying to win games. We don't need to showcase your arm. Just win games, manage the game for us. But I think it may be a little better than it was with Nico last year. But, I mean, time will tell.
They've also got, look, I'm worried about some of the locker room. Like, how does the rest of the team feel about Joey Aguilar coming in and basically saying, hey, this is my team. And maybe, I worry about some of that. But, yeah, I could see that. That's a good question, though.
Here's the thing. Syracuse is their opener, neutral site in Atlanta. And I would assume that Syracuse is not going to be as good simply because they don't have Kyle McCord, who had, I thought, an unbelievable season. Way better than I ever dreamed he would be there.
Way better.
To me, Aguilar better play well early, because if he doesn't, it's going to ratchet up a level of pressure that I don't think he wants, because, there's some real expectations there. Whether those are fair expectations or not, Tennessee's fan base thinks they ought to be there. I know we got to go to the break. By the way, great question at the end. We'll come back with Plaster bet of the day, except there's one problem. There's nothing to bet on. Stay tuned.
Can't watch the race? We got you.
I can't believe it.
NASCAR lives on the Game Nashville Sports Network. Whether it's 102.5 The Game, 94.9 The Fan, or Sports Talk 830, you can hear it all. Just check theGameNashville.com for the full schedule. NASCAR lives here. Your sports live here on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429, has a path to a dignified career. Are you a skilled electrician or lineman? Tired of dead-end, low-paying jobs? Local 429 is accepting applications for highly skilled electricians and linemen and is providing the best training in Middle Tennessee. They are the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 429. Call them at 615-889-4429 or go online to ibew429.org. IBEW Local 429, the best training and training the best.
This summer, the Legends of the West invite you to the Buffaloville Center of the West in Cody, Wyoming. 5 museums come alive with timeless Western art, heroic tales, and native cultures. Experience live birds of prey, crackling chuck wagon dinners, and behind-the-scenes adventures. Just 50 miles from Yellowstone's East Gate, our doors open wide to explorers young and old. One ticket grants you 2 days, enough time to let curiosity lead the way. Visit centerofthewest.org.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Final segment on a Wednesday. Time now for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham injury law. Well, the National League got a win last night due to a home run swing off. So George's book it works.
Well, you know what's interesting, though? If you look at all of these box scores, they're all calling it a 6-6 tie. And I'm wondering in Vegas, if you had the National League, did you get paid or did they give it a no contest?
That's a good question, George. And if they gave it a no contest, there's going to be some pissed off people.
Yeah, what I don't get
I mean, they won the game.
Well, they won the game, but why is the final score 6-6?
Well,
good question.
That's a good question.
I mean, to me, there's something fishy about that. And I tried to look earlier today to see if anybody, said, hey, such and such racing sports book is screwing people over on it.
I haven't seen that. I feel like we would have if we did. So.
I do too, but it's kind of worth noting. Anyway, tomorrow, the final day of all of this, we got a lot coming. Billy and Hugh Greenfield have done a terrific job in a deal that's not easy to do. It is not. And because you're running around catching people, and the stuff's been good. See all of you tomorrow. Kelly, try to behave until then.
Always. See y'all.
See you. Bye-bye.